Yeah, hello? I can't actually take this call right now because I'm teaching the boys how to draw a fisheye perspective. Oh, I just won $1 million? Well, guess what? I literally just turned down a deal for $1 billion. And it was Ice Spice. Hey, what's going on, Drizzballs? Today, we're gonna actually learn how to draw in the fisheye perspective, just like this video. A lot of tutorials out there will actually teach you to draw a big old grid first, like a circle, make it all warped. And that in itself is difficult. My method's way easier, and it's something that you can apply to every single drawing that you do. Butterfly. Now the great thing about modern technology is that we already have fisheye style camera lenses, just like the one you're watching right now. Instead of drawing the grid and then trying to perceive that drawing through the eyes of the grid that you just drew, why not just find a bunch of reference photos that already exist in this style like this? You could even draw me right now, and treat your brain like AI. You feed it enough images of the same thing, your brain will just know what to do. You won't even have to draw the grid. You'll just be able to see anything and actually just draw from your imagination if you want to. Don't draw the grid. I've studied a bunch of pictures and I've come to the conclusion that looking at the subject, 1/3 of the subject will appear the biggest, and it will probably take up 2/3 of the actual picture. Look at me right now. The other side of that would be that 2/3 of the subject only takes up about 1/3 of the actual photo. So it's extreme proportions, and if you lay the Fibonacci sequence over any picture you find, it'll actually match up pretty well. I'll make a whole video on that probably, maybe. There's enough videos, just look it up. For references, I'm gonna have to say, use Pinterest. Pinterest is like a retarded search engine, but no, it's actually really cool, and they have some very aesthetic images. It's not just trying to give you relevant information, it's trying to give you the most aesthetic information. So whatever you like, it's gonna be like, hey, here's more of that. So just look it up, like type in some cool keywords like fisheye perspective or like aesthetic fisheye, something like that, and it's gonna just keep sending you dope stuff, and I'll just be banging them out like 10 per session. On the aesthetic principles and why the fisheye lens is so cool, the human body, the human head is only 1/7 of the body. However, fisheye, it's more like half of the image. Like half to 2/3 is gonna be like the head, you know, depending. Obviously, this is all depending. However, I'm just trying to give you guys a general guideline. I really don't like to use a special method. Like, I'm not gonna just come up and lie to you guys and say, I use this specific method. What I will say though, is that I use the exact same method that I use to draw everything. What is that method? I've talked about it a bunch of times before. Basically, blocking stuff out, right? You just wanna block stuff out in big shapes. And this is the cool part, because this is gonna set the rest of the drawing from the beginning. So the more warped you want it, you could have it start out way bigger up close, whatever the shape is, way bigger up close, almost like a road going back. Start out very big and then funnel it back down to a small point. Like, you don't want to jump into the detail. That's never a good thing to do. Don't ever jump right into the detail. Start out with those big shapes, bring it to a point, bring it to a focal point. You can exaggerate. Right in the beginning, you can exaggerate it however big you want to make it, okay? And then eventually, once you start with the detail, you already have the perfect guidelines. So that's your grid, essentially. But it's not a grid. It's just blocking it out. And that's how I draw everything. So you're learning how to draw everything in this video. Also, when you're drawing the shapes that will lay the foundation for the rest of the drawing, you don't need to draw like specific shapes. You don't have to be like, okay, I'm going to draw an isosceles triangle right now. Just draw the general kind of shape of what you see. Exaggerate it. And you'll see, now you can take, if you've done this enough, you can take nearly any photo and exaggerate it from the beginning. That's kind of what caricature artists do, right? This is kind of basically what caricature artists do. You can basically just add flavor to your drawing, so you're not plateauing like most other artists. Like, this skill is so valuable. It's not just to draw like fisheye lens type stuff. You're learning perspective play, but it's better because you can warp stuff like you wouldn't be able to with just normal perspective. So, brum, 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 brum.